Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Ling Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's stories. The deadly shooting in Southern California casted a dark shadow over New Year celebrations. Locals commemorate the 10 who were killed with flowers and candles. Walk for Life West Coast held its 19th annual rally in San Francisco. Attendees say around 30,000 people showed up to voice their reasons for being pro-life. Millions of mailing ballots in California were reportedly unaccounted for during the past midterm election. This comes after the state adopted a law to require ballots to be mailed to all registered voters. The manhunt for a suspect who shot and killed 10 people at a dance club in Southern California's Monterey Park is over. Authorities found him dead inside a van yesterday. Police say he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more on what is known so far about the suspect.
A SWAT team and bomb squad surrounded the suspect's white van in Torrance, California Sunday morning. The standoff lasted for hours. A gunshot rang out when police got closer to the van and ordered the suspect to get out. The dead man inside was identified as 72-year-old Hu Can Tran. Investigators say several pieces of evidence found inside the van linked Tran to both Saturday's shooting at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio in Monterey Park and a thwarted attempt at another dance club nearby. Authorities say about a half hour after the attack in Monterey Park that left 10 people dead and 10 others injured, the gunman entered the Lai Ballroom in Alhambra. People there managed to grab the gun away from him.
He was disarmed by two community members who I consider to be heroes because they saved lives. This could have been much worse.
Witnesses say the gunman escaped and drove away in a white van. That information, along with surveillance camera footage and the suspect's description, helped authorities track him down. Congresswoman Judy Chu assured the community it was now safe, but said many questions still need answers.
Did he have a mental illness? Was he a domestic violence abuser? How did he get these guns? And was it through legal means or not?
Tran's ex-wife says he was once a regular patron at the Monterey venue where she met him 2 decades ago. He used to give informal dance lessons there. The Los Angeles County Sheriff says the motive is still not clear. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
It's a somber start into the Lunar New Year for locals after the deadly shooting in Southern California's Monterey Park. People left flowers in tribute for the 10 people killed in a ballroom dance club.
A makeshift memorial was erected on Monday outside the Star Ballroom Dance Studio in Monterey Park, where 72-year-old Hu Can Tran opened fire and killed 10 people before taking his own life hours later.
Super tragic. It's like I was in the gym and then I saw this on the news and I couldn't even focus. It was just, like I said, this is home to me and it really hit hard. It's really sad.
Officials worked into Monday trying to identify the dead. They do not have the exact ages of the victims, but said they all appeared to be over 50. Another 10 people were wounded, and 7 remained hospitalized as of late Sunday.
Was made by the owner of the dance studio, which he invited people there to celebrate New Year in the studio, $15 per person. The time was between 8:30 to 12:30, so it's in the middle of the celebration.
You would even think that something like this could happen. It was a bunch of people in that part where all the tents are at, and people just crossing the street, crossing in front of Star Studio. But I passed by this spot so many times. I lived around San Gabriel my whole life, basically, so this definitely hit home.
Tran's rampage could have been far worse. About 20 minutes after the shooting in Monterey Park, he entered another dance club in the neighboring city of Alhambra. There, 2 patrons wrestled a weapon away from Tran before he could get a shot out. Tran then fled. Officials said the motive for the massacre is unclear. The shooting took place around the location of a 2-day Lunar New Year celebration where many downtown streets are closed for festivities that draw thousands of people from across Southern California.
As of Monday afternoon, the death toll increased to 11. Walk for Life West Coast held its 19th annual rally and walk in San Francisco. Organizers estimated around 30,000 people participated this year. NTD's Jason Blair has more from the event.
Just one day before the 50th anniversary of the historical Roe v. Wade decision, Walk for Life West Coast held its 19th annual rally and walk in San Francisco on Saturday.
Our goal with the Walk for Life has always been to bring awareness to the harm of abortion to women primarily, to, of course, to children, to unborn children, to siblings, to fathers, to all of society. And we've had some really great, our message is that abortion hurts women.
The event started with a rally at Civic Center Plaza outside of City Hall with info booths, 2 stages, and several speakers. Despite San Francisco being known for having a large pro-choice population, Meehan said that the city's logistical departments have always been professional and treated the event just like any other during the past 19 years. Robert Bird, the executive coordinator for activist group Pro-Life San Francisco, said that abortion laws have recently changed in California.
Last fall was Proposition 1, which our leaders the California leaders poorly educated the voting population on. It created it so that elective abortion without any medical reason, was legal throughout birth.
Culturally, there's been a lot of back and forth about what abortion is, who's it for, who can have it, who can't have it. And I think tragically, people who look like me have been heavily disenfranchised and miseducated on the fact that we need to keep these facilities in our community. However, what it is actually controlling the ethnic population in this country by continuing to allow these facilities to execute us.
Life begins at conception. They have their own DNA.
And I think if we could actually come together instead of protesting each other so often and find a lot more solutions, I think we would see a lot more abortions be lessened and lessened. If we could agree on when life begins, or if we could just agree on the fact that a woman's number one choice shouldn't have to be abortion, it should be something else. That should be the last case scenario if it even was an option.
Doctors, nurses, please do not perform any more abortions. Innocent children are dying. You study to save lives, not to kill lives.
A group of around 200 counter-protesters showed up to Civic Center Plaza about halfway through the rally. The group marched into a separated area, chanting and holding up signs like "Legal abortion nationwide now" and "We demand reproductive justice now." Frank Pavone, National Director of Priests for Life, emceed the side stage for the Silent No More awareness campaign, which was held before the main event at the rally.
Understand that we who reject abortion do not reject those who have had abortions. Rather, we embrace them with the peace, the mercy, the healing, the forgiveness of Christ. That's what this movement is about.
Pavone is a very active and outspoken pro-life activist. He was recently dismissed from clerical state in December of 2022 by the Vatican for, quote, blasphemous communications on social media.
Because of Roe versus Wade being overturned, that over 11,000 babies are doing well today.
San Francisco Archbishop Salvatore Corleone was also in attendance for the walk. The Archbishop made headlines in May 2022 for barring former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi from receiving Holy Communion over her stance on abortion. Pelosi is a resident of San Francisco. According to the organizers, an estimated 30,000 people participated in the event. The large group walked through downtown San Francisco, eventually ending at Embarcadero Plaza. The group was diverse, with many different communities and groups. Chanting, instruments, and singing could be heard. People were holding up signs like "Choose Life," "Pray to End Abortion," and "Peace Begins in the Womb." Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
Over 10 million mailing ballots in California reportedly went unaccounted for during the 2022 midterms. This after the state implemented a law requiring every registered voter to automatically receive a ballot by mail. Here's more.
The Public Interest Legal Foundation issued a report last week analyzing California's mail-in ballots during the 2022 midterms. The report found that almost 11 million ballots went unaccounted for. In 2021, California passed a bill requiring that ballots automatically be mailed to all active registered voters statewide. The bill was implemented in conjunction with the COVID-19 pandemic and made vote-by-mail ballots permanent for all elections. Regarding the unaccounted for ballots, the Public Interest Legal Foundation said, quote, "Election officials do not know what happened to them. It is fair to assume that the bulk of these were ignored or ultimately thrown out by the intended recipients. But under mass mail elections, we can only assume what happened." The report further states that, in general, it's hard to find out what exactly happens to a ballot after it's sent out. The foundation's research also found that election officials rejected over 226,000 ballots in California. The most common reason was late arriving ballots, accounting for almost half of all rejections. Other common reasons for rejection are missing signatures or signature mismatches. The foundation's president said on rejected ballots that there are many reasons mail ballots fail ultimately to count. No one casting a ballot at home can correct an error before it's too late. He added that California's vote-by-mail demonstration should serve as a warning to state legislators elsewhere. A spokesperson for California's Secretary of State commented on the report to the Daily Signal. The office confirmed the number of rejected ballots, adding they came from both the primary and the general elections.
We are going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. A new report on Los Angeles Unified School District so-called acceleration days show that while thousands of students attended the bonus days over winter break, the numbers were lower than initially reported by the district. The Los Angeles Zoo is deeply saddened to announce the death of 61-year-old Jewel, the oldest Asian elephant in the zoo's care. Jewel was euthanized due to declining health. And San Franciscans celebrated the Lunar New Year with the Golden State Warriors over the weekend. Festivities included a large rabbit statue and live performances. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, Liang Zhang. The inmate at the Orange County Jail pleaded not guilty this week for his alleged role in the beating of a suspected drunk driver. Is one of the 13 accused assailants that left the other inmate comatose.
31-year-old Jonathan Arlie Gonzalez Sanchez is one of the 13 accused inmates who pleaded not guilty for his involvement in an attack that left another inmate unconscious. The 12 other defendants in the case also pleaded not guilty. According to the criminal complaint, all 13 inmates are accused of beating 44-year-old Emilio Rosales Oseguera on January 11th. Officials allege that the attack was carried out on behalf of the Mexican mafia. The victim, Rosales Oseguera, was arrested by the California Highway Patrol on January 7th. He is accused of allegedly drunk driving with a .20 blood alcohol content. He was charged with DUI on January 10th and pleaded not guilty. Court records also show that he had 3 prior DUIs in San Bernardino County. A source close to the case said the beating lasted over 45 minutes inside the jail. All 13 inmates are being charged with felony conspiracy, attempted murder, torture, kidnapping, and participation in gang activity. Gonzalez Sanchez also denied sentencing enhancements for gang activity and causing great bodily injury. Orange County Sheriff's officials referred calls for information to prosecutors who declined media requests for comment.
A new report on Los Angeles Unified School District's acceleration days shows a lower than expected attendance rate. The school district says low turnout could be due to a number of reasons, but added that the program was still successful.
Over winter break, the Los Angeles Unified School District held 2 so-called acceleration days, but the attendance rate turned out to be lower than expected. The bonus days were held on December 19th and 20th, and were part of Superintendent Alberto Carvalho's plan to help the district's 420,000 students recover from pandemic-induced learning loss. In the week leading up to the acceleration days, Carvalho wrote on Twitter that roughly 70,000 students were registered. But in a recent January 17th presentation, Chief of School Operations Andres Chait told the school board that the actual participation numbers hovered closer to 40,000 students.
As Superintendent already alluded to, we had close to 40,000 students that participated in one or both acceleration days. Another way of expressing this is that this provided an equivalent of nearly 60,000 days, student days of intervention and enrichment services.
A spokesperson for the school district was not immediately available for comment on the discrepancy between the reported numbers. Chait said LAUSD will need to investigate why some students who registered for the acceleration days didn't show up, but he said one potential reason could be because the acceleration days were hosted over winter break, and some families could have been out of town. He also pointed to the district's unusually high student absence rate, 20%, on the Friday before winter break. Despite this, Carvalho said he felt confident that the acceleration days reached the students who needed to be there.
Acceleration days as the second best option to what was originally envisioned for these students were never meant to be universal schooling for all students. They were meant to be an optional opportunity for the students who struggled the most. So on the basis of that declaration, I can assuredly tell the board and the community that we hit the mark.
The accelerated days were originally set to take place during the school year and not over breaks, but that changed when the district's teachers union, United Teachers Los Angeles, called for its members to boycott the extra days in August. The union argued the days were added to the school year without labor negotiation. As a compromise, LAUSD rescheduled the extra days to take place over the winter and spring breaks. The next acceleration days will take place later this year, on April 3rd and 4th.
The Los Angeles Zoo is mourning the loss of one of their oldest animals. Jewel, an Asian elephant, was euthanized due to declining health.
The Los Angeles Zoo announced the death of Jewel, the oldest Asian elephant in the LA Zoo. The 61-year-old animal experienced declining health. On January 15th, animal care and veterinary staff said that it was clear that Jewel was not going to improve. They then decided to euthanize her. Jewel bonded with several elephants in the LA Zoo. This includes 57-year-old elephant Tina, the 38-year-old male bull Asian elephant Billy, and 51-year-old female Asian elephant Chauncey. Jewel's life companion was Tina, whom she spent close to 30 years with. The zoo said for the past 12 years, both elephants thrived and lived comfortably together. There are around 40,000 Asian elephants remaining in the wild, making them an endangered species. They are often hunted for their ivory tusks. The LA Zoo is a participant in conservation efforts with elephant conservation organizations that work in the wild.
San Franciscans celebrated the Lunar New Year this past weekend with the Golden State Warriors. Here's what was featured during the festivities.
The Golden State Warriors celebrated the Year of the Rabbit with their annual Lunar New Year celebration on January 21st.
This is a celebration that the Golden State Warriors have put on for the second time in a row now. And we're doing everything from celebrating with entertainment, with food, family-friendly activities, all right behind me, as you can see. And we're really excited to be bringing it back to Thrive City.
Thrive City displayed a 5-foot-tall rabbit statue dubbed the Bravery Rabbit.
I think it's quite a challenge to me because warrior feels more like a tiger, not a rabbit. But I think it's still interesting to challenge these topics. So I chose to use a bunch of our Chinese traditional elements to show our culture, like the bamboo, the cloud symbol, the China tide.
Sitting on a white cloud, the blue and golden yellow rabbit represents the Golden State Warriors.
Some of them say the rabbits were very cute and they very love the design, and I'm very happy to hear that. And also some people said my design make even the rabbit looks like more brave and strong.
Some visitors shared how the Lunar New Year is celebrated in Vietnamese culture.
We're celebrating the Year of the Cat. We are Vietnamese, so we are celebrating Vietnamese New Year. And we saw that Chase Center had a festival in our hometown, so we decided to come out.
So in Vietnamese culture, we eat is it chung to or what is it called?
Bánh trứng.
Bánh trứng?
Yeah.
So there's certain dishes you eat for the new year to wish for good luck, and there's certain traditions you do to hope, like for the new year, for good luck.
Guests were able to enjoy a rabbit petting zoo, lantern craft stations, live performances, and more.
Now to NTD's Tyler Castillo for an update on sports.
I'm Tyler Castillo, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup. The San Francisco 49ers beat longtime rivals the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round on Sunday afternoon. Both teams' defenses got to work as no team got over 20 points for the night. Cowboys' Dak Prescott completed 23 of 37 pass attempts for 206 yards with 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. Brock Purdy completed 19 of 29 pass attempts for 214 yards with no touchdowns and no turnovers for the 49ers. The 49ers' only touchdown came from Christian McCaffrey, who has now scored in 8 straight games. The 49ers are going to be headed to Philadelphia, where they will go up against the mighty Philadelphia Eagles. It will be an epic rematch for Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, who played against each other in college in 2019. 49ers 19, Cowboys 12. Royce O'Neal buried a go-ahead three-pointer with 28 seconds remaining. Kyrie Irving capped a 38-point performance with a pair of clinching free throws 14 seconds later, and Brooklyn defeated Golden State and San Francisco. Irving won a scoring duel with Stephen Curry 38-26 and got a lot more help from his fellow starters as the Nets won their second straight. Jonathan Kuminga, Kevin Looney, and Dante DiVincenzo scored in double figures off the Golden State bench, while starters Jordan Poole and Thompson had 17 and 10 points. Nets 120, Warriors 116. LeBron James had 37 points and 11 rebounds, and Los Angeles overcame a 25-point halftime deficit to knock off the host, the Portland Trail Blazers. Thomas Bryant matched his career high of 31 points and collected 14 rebounds for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder added 24 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds as Los Angeles won its second straight game. Anthony Simons scored 31 points for the Trailblazers, who lost for the 12th time in their past 16 contests. Lakers 121, Trailblazers 112. Playing in his 600th career NBA game, Kawhi Leonard had 30 points and 9 rebounds, and visiting Los Angeles dominated the fourth quarter in a win over Dallas. Paul George scored 21 points, and Norman Powell added 19 for Los Angeles, which outscored the Mavericks 33-19 in the final period. Luka Doncic led the Mavericks with 29 points and 10 rebounds for Dallas, which has lost 6 of its past 8 games. Clippers 112, Mavericks 98. And that's the sports roundup for today.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.